So our second album is Stardust by Danny Brown.
Rock star, give me that rap star, pop star, rock star, give me that, you know. Come by it honestly, what the hell is wrong with me? I'm a rock star, baby, so I get what I want.
And this was Kiley's choice, so you can kick us off on this one.
Yeah, I think I would guess a lot of people Atrocity Exhibition in 2016 is where I got introduced to Detroit's Danny Brown, who's, you know, MC, producer, podcaster, actor, all the things. And and so we last heard from him in 2023, soloized with Karanta, which I feel like has kind of been forgotten, and I really loved that record a lot. I have a very specific memory of going back to Denver, hanging with an old friend, and his kid forgot their teddy bear or whatever. Um, and so we had to like go pick up this teddy bear and drive it over to the grandparents' house. And he was, any good new records. And so we were listening to this new Danny Brown record while delivering the teddy bear, which I really enjoyed. But and then also that year, Scaring the Host with JPEG Mafia, which I really loved that as well. So I think on the outside, 2023 seemed like a, pretty great year for Danny Brown. And, it turns out that he went to rehab during that time. And so Stardust is, the other side of this sober life that he's leading now. And kind of, uh, to it feels like to fall back in love with music, he really leaned into hyper pop. The press talks about him listening to 100 Gex all the time while in rehab, and so which just seems crazy to me. But um, anyway, so what we have here is 14 tracks of the newly sober Danny Brown, and essentially a bunch of hyper pop all stars. Um, and I think where this album really succeeds is that um, hyperpop isn't necessarily always a genre that I'm all that thrilled about. But the beats that they've made with Danny Brown and him, rapping over the top of them just works so well. I think from the Book of Daniel, the opening track really caught me off guard with Quadeka, who also is on What You See. I think that's another um, highlight of a track. And then I really like Starburst and Lift You Up when he doesn't necessarily have the guest features. I think those work out really well too. Underscores on Copycats and Baby. That's someone that I haven't necessarily been too much into in the past and really enjoy that. And then 80, which is the 8485 on Flowers. Love that one as well. Hyper pop is one of those genres that just makes you feel like an old man, and you go through this stuff and you read about these beefs and all these things of these kids that were born, when you were in college, make you feel kinda out of touch. So, I will say that kinda caps off with the, Green Light. We've talked about this one with Frost Children. Um, First time I was playing this record, I was setting up a show, and, I told you guys that song came on, and I was the only one in the venue, but I still ran over to, skip to the next track because I was like, "Oh, man, if anyone comes in and hears this, I don't know what it is." It is just I'm sorry, Frost Children, not my thing. Um, and then I'm pretty sure that they show up again too during the end, which has Synthony and Tayu Kranka and Zayani, which I think is a great, it's a 9-minute centerpiece. But I'm pretty sure I read that Frost Children did the spoken word for the last 2 minutes, and it's just like once again this thing kind of falls apart for me. But finishes strong with Jane Remover is another one that I'm trying again to get into their new record from this year, but not necessarily loving it. And then All For You, I just absolutely love, and I think it closes out on a really positive note. So, it's a Danny Brown record. It's left field, and it's very intricate, very layered. Takes a lot of active listening, which I think is great for hip hop, and yeah, continues a strong trend of hip hop records this year.
Mm. Would you agree with that, Carl?
Yeah, yeah. I
Strong
mean,
trends continuing.
yeah, for sure. I mean, super happy Kylie picked this one this month. Yeah, I saw. I was reminded that it was coming out after I locked in my picks with you, so I was filled with this like remorse for not picking this record. But yeah, grateful to Kylie for getting it on the
Pleasure.
slate. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's similar to Kylie as well. Big Danny Brown fan ever since. Yeah, Atrocity Exhibition, which yeah, it was around the time I was religiously into the Needle Drop, and pretty sure, yeah, it was Anthony Fantano's album of the year for 2016, and that's kind of how I got onto it. But yeah, just loved how dark and oddball that record was. These bizarre beats that no one but Danny would ever dream to rap over, and yeah, after that, it was kind of like I need to check out more of this guy. Went back to his other records, Triple X and Old. Um, Both of those completely different vibes, but just as good. And then obviously, yeah, you mentioned his more recent stuff like Quaranto and You Know What I'm Saying the last few years. And yeah, he's just one of these artists that always delivers interesting, completely out there, completely Danny Brown rap record. And I think Stardust is it's that again, it's sonically quite unlike anything he's done before, but at the same time, completely him, bit his style. It even though it's like this mix of genres, it's all like wrapped up in his vibe, I would say. But yeah, Copycats. Got to mention that one. Just such a great single. The rap star, pop star, rock star. Yeah, that's kind of like captures the essence of the record. I think this is like his rap star slash pop star slash rock star moment. He just stacks the track list here with some really fun and interesting collabs. A lot of the artists I'm not really aware of outside of Quedeca, but I think it's one of those where they all kind of kill their assignments here. I mean, Kylie, you'd probably disagree with that one, but I think they do a good job. And yeah, it's just a wild ride. Jumps between like glitchy electronics. There's a bit of screamo at one point. The catchy pop hooks, as you mentioned, the hyper pop. But then also, the rap and hip hop in there as well. So it's one of those that's all over the place, but in the best way possible for me. Just really eclectic, really like genre bending from track to track. You don't know what you're gonna hear next. And he kind of pulls it into like this cohesive experience. As you're listening to it front to back, it just all kind of works. I think the obvious comparison, I think we mentioned it previously, was this feels like his Brat moment. Definitely has that same DNA and the sounds and confidence it puts forward, but also, reminded me of artists like Yuli, which we obviously mentioned last month, Grimes as well. There's a bit of that coming through. Um, but yeah, just it feels like an evolution of him. It's still got the chaos that he was creating on Atrocity Exhibition and Quaranta, even if like sonically it's quite a different style, it's still got him at the epicenter of it. And I think I also mentioned as well, like what he's doing with electronics definitely reminded me of what he was doing at Old, but turned up to 11. That was very much felt like a commercial record, whereas, like you say, Kylie, this is more like the left field, hyper pop electronic side. So yeah, I mean, I won't go into every track. I love it all. Obviously Copycats I mentioned, Starburst, another fantastic single. And yeah, I mean, you mentioned that the end, right at the end of the record, which is that centerpiece, almost like that track is almost like the entire album experience in like this 9-minute capsule. It's, a bit emo with the spoken word coming in, and then yeah, it goes off in all these crazy directions. So if you want like a snapshot of the album, listen to that song. Um and then yeah, all of you mentioned just a really sweet sentiment to cap it all off, bit of a love letter to, his fans that are stuck with him and kind of drive him to keep doing his thing. So yeah, love this record like I do all of Danny's work. Reddit's the record that he thinks he's always been striving for, and it does feel almost like that eureka moment for him. It's like all the styles that he's influenced by and all the things that he does so well. I think they're all on full display on this record. So yeah, echo Kylie's sentiment, just another one for the huge pile of excellent rap records this year.
Yeah, and I'm only going to add to that echo. Not familiar with him prior to this, but knowing that the critics, were very big on the JPEG Mafia collaboration in 2023 in Karanta. So yeah, appreciate getting the opportunity through Kylie's selection to give Danny Brown a go, and yes, it's a hell of a lot of fun. So hell of a lot of fun, but yeah, I mean, like going back to what Kylie said in terms of like how this came about. I don't know. It was only through when you both speak and then looking at my notes, then I'm going. It's interesting. Like Quedeca is there for the moments of real reflection. Firstly with Book of Daniel, which is just a awe-inspiring first track with this kind of nice inviting guitar, and basically being just incredibly also biographical about things and how he's feeling, and yeah, feeling quite good and shaking things off. Whereas in the middle with what you see, the other Quedeca track, it's like the side of when you go through the rehab of having to confront those demons, or in how you've acted. And so he's very much putting it on the line with this one, but also in the same fun way, which is very infectious across the album. I mean, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, I just wanted satisfaction, a killer line in that particular one. So they're two of the highlights for me, these more kind of somber moments. But then what he feels like he needs to get that off his chest, out of his system, and in across those two great tracks, and then the rest of it is him going, right, let's have a party. And yeah, as Kylie mentioned as well, hyperpop not really my usual kind of genre of choice, but yeah, it's just so infectious that I can't fail not to smile with a lot of the tracks on here and enjoy it, and some really standing out. Starburst, yeah, you both referred to. Again, another lyric in this one: I sold all my shares, that's why your stock fell. Just love these like great lyrical moments. And yeah, I love My Life featuring Fentanyl, another one which for me was a real highlight. But yeah, I think the end, it's a good shout, Karl, to say the end is kind of, if you want to have this album encapsulated in one song, the end is a good one to check out. It is 9 minutes long. I mean, personally, the first 6 minutes I love, with Ta Ukrainka, with so lots of Ukrainian singing in that moment, and it's very catchy. The Ziani bit, found it a bit annoying. So you get the two layers of kind of, and some moments on the album are push into the annoying. I think Baby was one which I just didn't quite gel so much with. Not quite as withering about it. The Green Light is another one which sort of fell below the bar which is set with most of these tracks. And yeah, there's a few others as well which didn't quite hit as much. But yeah, I mean, when you're throwing so much at the wall with this album as he does. There'll be songs you like, and there'll be songs which probably don't land as well. But as an entire listening experience, this is one which, yeah, I just think is such great fun. So different to most albums I listen to. It'll be different to all of those great rap albums there have been this year as well. It really stands apart in how it's executed. And yeah, I need to brush up more on Danny Brown, taking on your notes of his previous projects. I think there's a lot more to dig into here. So yeah, really good entry point for me. And yeah, certainly one I think which, yeah, you'd be hard pressed not to find some joy from this in some way, for all music fans.